Hey guys, Remon Azab here again. More Star Wars. Yes, yes. So, had a question that was asked to me in the comments section of my last video, and just wanted to clarify that real quickly. Pre-crafting, just for some of you that aren't aware of what it is, when I was mentioning it in the last video, is basically, for example, let's take a look here. If you go to, I mean, really any character, for example, let's see, somebody that needs something crafted. Um, well, let's go here to Dooku. Okay, so okay, this doesn't need to be crafted, but for example, if I mean, really, either any of these, for example, let's say a furnace here. Prior to the update uh, for the level cap from 70 to 80, um, this piece right here, these MKX pieces, the 50 that you need, were not necessary to craft a furnace. So, if you had all these other pieces here, you were able to just hit the craft button that you can see is blocked out here now. And when you hit the craft button, it locked in the furnace for you. So if you crafted several furnaces prior to the update, they allowed you to keep those furnaces. So that means that you did not have to go back and get those additional 50 MKX pieces, which you need from the raid gear to get, which is harder gear to get. Obviously, I mean, I only have 8 of them, so you can see what I mean. But they added these pieces to many of the uncraftable gears. For example, the Nubian Scanners. Let's take a look at one of them. Okay, so you see there's just a lot of pieces that were added here. For example, uh, now you need these 50 MK7 Nubian Security scanner salvage, which you can't get anywhere other than in the raids. So, when they added these extra pieces to the gear, it just made them unfarmable. And the people that had the foresight to craft some of those pieces prior to the update were allowed to keep those pieces. And that's what pre-crafting is, just for those who weren't aware. But that's not what we're going to be discussing here today. Really, I wanted to go over some of these characters that are a little, um, I want to say, really more for P1 of the Tier 7 raids. Phase 1 of the Tier 7 raids is really the only phase that has a serious strategy behind it, because turn meter reduction does stick on the Gamorrean Guard a bit more frequently than it does on the Rancor because of the high tenacity. So, and even on the lower tier raids, turn meter reduction is a huge thing. I mean, if you're doing a T6, a tier 6 raid, you can really last a long time if you have a good turn meter reduction team for phase 1. But that's what I wanted to discuss briefly. It's just some of these phase 1 characters that are really shining. And that could be, like I said, in a tier 5 raid, tier 6 raid, tier 7 raid. Because as you get into the later phases in a tier 7 raid, it's really more all about DPS. So when you're in phase 2, for example, you're trying to get high DPS characters, do your basics to knock down the door right before the Rancor gets its cooldown, and then uh, attack the Rancor with all you got. And what I have had success with in those phase 2 battles is having a taunter with more than one turn taunt. For example, like Stormtrooper Han has 3 turn taunts. So, the Rancor does less damage to a taunting character. So if you have Han out there, and you wait for the Rancor to do that. Offhand, I forgot the name of the move that he does. It's where he kind of roars at you and takes all positive status effects off the top of your head. I call it the Rancor burping at you. But yeah, basically he removes all your positive status effects. So if you have a taunt up, he'll remove that. So you wait till he does that first, then throw Han's taunt up, and he'll just straight up start whacking Han. And I mean, he'll do damage on Han, but it'll be less damage than if he was just straight up attacking Han without the taunt. So it'll kind of give you some more time to get more attacks in, and can extend the match a little bit, give you a chance to do more damage. Now, this is going to be for both free to play and pay to play because, quite frankly, there just are some great pay to play players too that are good for the Phase 1. One that we've been talking about since the beginning here is Rex. Rex has his basic, which deals physical damage to the target enemy and removes 25% turn meter. This prior to me putting an Omega on it was, I believe, only 85%, and now it's 100%. So unless it's resisted, it should reduce turn meter on the Gamorrean Guard, which is really the main game that you want to play there. Another character that does that is a character we talked a little bit about last week. We're going to get to him as well, Yoda, but no, we're talking about none other than, where is he? He's falling all the way down the list here. Wow. Quigon Jinn, still at Gear 8. No droid callers yet, as you guys can see. But his basic, with an Omega ability, is deal physical damage to the target enemy with a 65% chance to gain 30% turn meter and a 65% chance to remove 30% of the target's turn meter. So, again, with his basic, he's gaining turn meter and taking away turn meter. So, this is something huge when you're fighting the Phase 1 Gamorrean Guard because, again, the turn meter reduction sticks more on the Gamorrean Guard, and it can extend the match for you. So if you have, for example, a Quigon Jinn reducing turn meter, you have Rex reducing turn meter, and you throw other turn meter reducing characters out there, the Gamorrean Guard just takes longer before he gets an opportunity to actually take a turn. So that's less turns for the Gamorrean Guard in total, which means it's going to take longer for him to revive those other attackers that he has. And first of all, you should always be attacking the left attacker first, eliminating them, then going for the right attacker, eliminating them, and then going for the Gamorrean Guard. You never want to go straight for the Gamorrean Guard because you have to have a system for it. You want to get rid of those guys before they start doing damage to your team. So I've seen it done this way, and I've seen some guys, and these are not people with necessarily that have, any crazy super characters. These are just people that are making the mass last longer, that are doing 600k damage, 600k plus damage with a team mixed with turn meter reduction and DPS. So, they're running teams like, let's say, a Phasma lead who gives turn meter with her victory march. Then she also gives advantage, so that's pretty much it's a guaranteed crit. Then also you have Rey for her DPS, Qui-Gon Jinn for his turn meter reduction, Rex for his turn meter reduction, and then another DPS character, maybe like Geonosian Soldier. If you put Omegas on his swarm, with a crit, he's also doing around like 10k damage, and that's prior to the call and assist. And on top of that, he's giving. Let's take a look at Geonosian here. I don't have his Omegas yet, but I can show it to you. He's doing plus 15% damage with his swarm, which, like I said, I've seen do, crits of like 10k. And then, with an Omega on his unique, every time he crits, he's getting 50% turn meter gain. So that's great. And he also, well, I mean, if you have Geonosian allies, but that's really not going to affect you here, because you're not going to have any other ones other than maybe a Sun Fact, but I wouldn't use him in P1 for sure. So 50% turn meter gain whenever he crits, and you're talking about pairing him with a character like Phasma, who gives guaranteed crit with advantage. And this is a game where, again, Qui-Gon's giving himself turn meter, taking away turn meter. Rex gives turn meter. Phasma gives turn meter. Geonosian gets turn meter. So, all these guys are manipulating turn meter, taking away turn meter. Turn meter is the name of the game. So, let's see. Let's move on to the next character here. Now, another character that reduces turn meter. And some of you guys are going to laugh at this, but Chewbacca. Now, I only have his basic at level 6, but deal physical damage to target enemy with a 40% chance to remove 50% turn meter. Now, I've seen some videos of Phase 1 attacks where they're running Chewbacca in the team, and, 50% turn meter is a lot. So, you're talking about basically, halving the turn meter bar for the Gamorrean, which just keeps, again, it just extends the match. And now, with a 40% chance, you're talking about less of a chance than, let's say, Qui-Gon or, of course, Rex. But still, turn meter reduction is key. I've also seen a lot of people talking about Tebow. Now, my Tebow is not up there, so we're not going to look at him, but Tebow is another character. Another character is Old Ben. Old Ben, my Old Ben is don't laugh at me for his abilities over here, guys. I don't use Old Ben, but that's his evade. Okay, look at his leader ability. Now it gets better than this, but he has a high percent of evasion, and he also grants turn meter whenever an ally evades an attack. So every time they dodge an attack in game, allies get turn meter. So, or every time, so it's again, more about just manipulating turn meter. Another character that's great in a circumstance like this is anybody that can also do speed down. For example, like let's say fives. For example, here fives. Deal physical damage to a target enemy and inflict speed down for 2 turns. Now this is also, my fives is not leveled up, so I'm just giving you an example. Obviously if you're pumping in Omegas into fives and all the ability mats that you need to get fives up there, he's another good option there. Resistance Trooper, who I just got to gear 11. Deal physical damage to target enemy with a 65% chance to expose them for 3 turns. Okay, now he would be a sub for a DPS character, but he also, with his unique, has 10% potency and gains 55% turn meter whenever an enemy is exposed. So he has a 65% chance to expose his target enemy, and expose works very well. So whenever you're talking about exposing a character, you're doing significant extra damage with that expose, and he has a 65% chance to expose, which means he also has a 65% chance every time he does his basic to get 55% turn meter. So that's another character that would be good in a raid scenario. Now, you want to have these characters geared up, especially when you're talking about getting into the higher tier raids, because the Rancor is just merciless, and every attack that he does, especially when you get to phase 4, will do some serious damage. But For phase one, like I said, you can get through with good turn meter. Also, Hoth Rebel Scout, for example, with his basic, deal physical damage to target enemy, and a 25% chance to gain 25% turn meter for all allies. So, with the Omega here, that means he gets a 40% chance to gain 25% turn meter for all allies. So, every time he shoots his basic, there's a 40% chance that he's going to give everybody on the team 25% turn meter. So that, in addition to all the other turn meter manipulation that's going on with the team, having that added on there is also great. But again, before I would use Hoth Rebel Scout in a scenario like that, I'd want to get him to at least gear. Well, I have him at gear 9, so you can use him this way. But I mean, I want to get him to gear 10. Now, Stormtrooper Han. Okay. Now, his taunt. He taunts for 3 turns, which is the most of any taunting character in the game. And all other allies gain 30% turn meter. In addition, all other allies gain 20% turn meter when Han is damaged. So that means every time somebody attacks Han, all other allies gain 20% turn meter, and when he does his taunt, everybody gets 30% turn meter. So again, a character like this, who manipulates turn meter, this is not really for phase 1, but this would be more for like when you're fighting the Rancor. He can also mitigate the damage of the Rancor. So a guy like Han is a great choice. He definitely can help you get through your P2 and P3 stages with the door drop on the Rancor. Now, I'm not going to spend this entire time just going over characters here, but I just wanted to do a little bit of info about the raids. Another character that's really good with the raids as well, I would say, is Admiral Ackbar. Ackbar, again, stuck at gear 8 because I don't have any droid callers, is great. I gave him an Omega with his Tactical Genius. Ackbar grants each ally a Tactical Genius effect. The first ally to use a special ability gains effect 100% turn meter and recovers 30% of their max health. Tactical Genius ends whenever an ally triggers their effect at the end of Ackbar's next turn. Okay, that's a great ability. That got -1 cooldown. It's a trap. Dispel all negative status effects from allies. Each ally recovers 9% of their max health for each effect dispelled this way. Admiral Ackbar has a 25% chance to gain 25% turn meter. Now he also has if you add this Omega here, he'll have a 25% chance to gain 40% turn meter. Okay, and that means, again, this is more for, I'd say P2 or Phase 2 and Phase 3 when you're fighting the Rancor. Ackbar is great for dispelling those negative status effects that the Rancor gives you. So he will then grant turn meter to those characters, and as well himself, or with a 25% chance. So again, I just wanted to briefly go over some of that with you guys. Now, today is PvP day for our guild, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into a PvP match here with my guildmate Malia. So Malia's going to get a chance to see his team get defeated here on live video. Now, right now I'm running Ackbar lead with a Gear 11 Resistance Trooper, Gear 11 Han, a Gear 9 Rey, and a Gear 10 Leia. Let me go ahead and get this going. Now, just to give you an idea of what the Ackbar lead does for you. Now, we're going to go for the squishiest character here to start. Being that he has Royal Guard, we don't want to activate Royal Guard's taunt, so first I'm going to Stealth Leia. he doesn't have a, actually, he does have a Dispeller, but we're not going to, yeah, so we're not going to do that because Echo can Dispel. Now we're going to go ahead and do a basic on Echo here. Now again, we don't want to get Echo into yellow health because if we do that, that'll activate Royal Guard's taunt. So we're going to go ahead and do Tactical Genius on Rex. Okay. Well, that's not good. Okay, she's still alive. She's still alive. Alright, so now let's attack Rex again. Now this move here should expose Rex. Oh, that'll be the end array. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and taunt with Han. Now this kind of screws things up a little bit because I was planning on using Ray to take out Echo. So we're going to end up having to take on this Royal Guard taunt. But let me try this to see how much damage we can do. Alright, so we didn't start this match off great. We didn't hit the expose on that one. Okay, let's go with Tactical Genius again. We got the expose on him, okay. Oh, he just removed the expose. And they killed Han. So, okay, now we're going to go ahead and take Rex out. Yeah, this doesn't look good right now, guys, I gotta tell you. Okay. Now, let's tap him with the expose. Okay. Now let's go for Clone Sergeant. Ugh. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage. Ooh, it's over. That clone team's pretty tough. Pretty tough. Okay. Okay, Molly, you defended. And that's not even your number one team. I'm proud of you. Okay. Well, fortunately, we do have a couple of hours before reset, and I need to get some more PvP matches in anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and take you on again. This time I'm going to go ahead and switch out my Resistance Trooper with Rex. And we'll do it this way. Hopefully this brings us a better result. Alright, again I'm going to go for Echo first here. Go with the Tactical Genius. Okay. Alright, so now we should be able to take Echo out. That activated Royal Guard and his taunt. So we'll go ahead and knock that down a little bit. Now that Echo is gone, there's no Dispel on their team anymore, so we will activate Han's taunt, which should get us through this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give everybody tenacity up and turn meter. I'm going to go ahead and use Rex's special attack here, which does pretty decent damage. Okay, so that should be the end of a row guard. Now we can start to focus on Rex. Reduce turn meter. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to stealth Leia here. Tactical Genius again. It would have been nice to see a triple tap there, but Rey should take him out right here. Nice. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and try to get Clone Sergeant out of here. Alright, that's the end of Han. But it's okay because we're going to take out Clone Sergeant here. And now it's just us 4 and 5s. And this should work out pretty well. Because whenever Leia's using her taunt, she's calling Ackbar in for the attack. And 5s can't counter that. And he also can't counter Leia when she's stealthed. So this is pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and use Rey's Flurry here on him. It should take off some, removed all of his protection. Rex's special attack here will help. Tactical Genius again. That cooldown really helps. You see, I was able to use that 3 times this match. So this will take him out. So for Malia, if you get a chance to see that, in your face the second time. But great defense the first time. I mean, that team really works better with Rex instead of Resistance Trooper, but I was trying Resistance Trooper out because I just got him to Gear 11. I want to see what kind of comps he'll work well in. But that's really what Galactic War is for. So I'm going to get into some of that as well. Let's try out a couple of different team comps here and see what we can get going. Now, another thing I wanted to discuss is, some of these, these guilds and the issues that they're having, because I'm hearing a lot of news about people leaving guilds, bouncing from guild to guild, and just kind of, having a bad experience with the entire guild thing. Now, although the guilds did add a significant amount of content for us, and I have to say that the game is significantly better since they added the guilds. It has added another element, and what that is that we're relying on other people, whereas for many months this game was just a solo game and we were playing by ourselves. So now you're talking about having to rely on other people to do their daily activities, to do their galactic wars, to spend energy, and for some of these tier achievements, it's a considerable amount of energy, so for somebody who's not necessarily spending as much money as other people, it's kind of tough for them to achieve that 1,400 energy divided amongst 50 people to reach tier 7 on the dark side, light side days and the hard node days. When you're talking about the Galactic War days, I mean, everybody loves to do 36, I guess. I mean, me personally, no. I'm doing 1 Galactic War, okay? Galactic War takes a very long time, 12 nodes, and I'm done. But I will not be doing 36 nodes in one day. That's just too much time invested into just getting an extra 100 guild currency, which really is not that big of a difference. I will take the L on that one. All right, so let's go with. Let me see here. I'm going to go with the Phasma lead. We'll go with First Order TIE Pilot. We'll go with Kylo Ren. We'll go with First Order Stormtrooper. And we will go with First Order Officer. Yes. Although my First Order Officer, is not where he should be, but for the purposes of this experiment, we're going to see what a First Order team does. Now, just going back to what I was saying, really all this stuff is, with the raids and, the drama that's happening between people and their guilds it's just because it's a new thing. Guilds have to make adjustments to the way these raids work. The raids inherently were, not the great. We didn't necessarily get the greatest system for the raids because, unfortunately, we're doing the best that we can with a broken system. And as far as the raids are concerned, the ranking system that they threw into the raids is kind of an unfair way, I'd say, to look at, trying to complete a team effort, because at the end of the day, we're looking to defeat a Rancor. Okay, we don't want necessarily people to feel, competitive against the other people in the guild in the raids. I understand on the daily activities, if you spend more energy or more crystals on energy than somebody else, you deserve to get more guild tokens than somebody else. But if you're in a raid and we're all limited to our attacks and we're all trying to, defeat a common enemy and that a goal is accomplished, I understand there being, maybe some more benefits for somebody that does more damage than somebody else, but the difference in the amount of pieces that you get, the difference in the amount of shards that you get, really shouldn't be that huge, because ultimately we're all trying to work together. Some people have the ability to go more than others because they're just available. Some people have the ability to go more than others because it's just their turn. I mean, there's just so many variables involved. And now that we're relying on other people, and people are looking at other people to see who's taking extra turns and who's taking, who's not doing their daily contributions. I mean, it's just there's more reason to be looking at other people now than there ever was before. So that's what's causing the drama and the stress between people that are playing with each other and other guilds. I'm just personally glad that we did have some bumpy roads in the beginning, but we've kind of figured that out, and now the guild seems to be humming, and we're kind of firing on all cylinders, and we're on the top of the leaderboards, which is great. Coming into next month, we should be ready to start off good, and I think that ultimately that's really what we're looking for, is to achieve the best we can as a team, and that's kind of where this raid system has kind of caused issues between people, is because ultimately this should be a team effort, and there should be no reason to be jealous or mad at another guild member because of what's going on in the raid. And the system is just built that way so that there would be competition and jealousy and anger. So now that guilds are getting a better grasp of what these tier 7 raids are and these tier 6 raids are and how long they take, and coming up with systems to how they can get everybody to get a crack at the Rancor and get the raids completed, and just really figuring out what it is that we're getting into now with this entire raid and really this guild system. Things are just starting to work a little bit better, and I think we're seeing a lot less problems and a lot less issues now. Now it's just a matter of once you create the system, just keeping it going and making sure that everybody follows the instructions. But overall, my experience has been good. Again, you guys all know how I feel about the raid gear, but the raids themselves are fun. Uh, the the added content with all the new challenges they're adding, and uh, you know, now all these new events that they're coming up with, is really cool. It's just really more than we've seen out of the game for a long time. So I mean, when we first started, there were months and months and months where it really was just more of the same, more of the same, maybe a couple of characters here and there. But now it seems like they're really putting a significant effort into adding more content for us to enjoy and more content for us to share with each other. So I'm sure they're going to continue to add to that and just continue to add to the customer experience. Hopefully we get some more ways to do battles against other guilds. Maybe we could do some guild versus guild PvP or something in that vein. I think that would be a good idea. Maybe some sort of a tournament. I don't know how they're going to do it, but those are just some ideas I've been thinking about, and I think that it will go a long way towards making some of these challenges more competitive, and maybe just adding some new ways we can get rewards and gear and things like that. So always looking to see how we can improve the game, and I'm sure that they're thinking about these things too. I don't know if that's going to come in the way of ships or again, like guild versus guild PvP or live PvP, which people have been talking about for a long time. Um, I do hope they make some adjustments to these galactic wars, though, because honestly, it's become a little bit more difficult to try to live my life and get these things done and get all the guild requirements done and do a raid. Like, I mean, on days where you're doing raids and you're also doing galactic wars, you're doing your challenges. I mean, sometimes life just gets in the way, and having to spend an hour sometimes on GW, just for me personally, can take a little too long. Sometimes I get it done much quicker. I mean, I used to get Galactic Wars done before Protection in about 15 minutes. Now it's taking a bit longer. Sometimes I don't notice and it just flies right by, but again, it's just my feelings on it. I love Galactic Wars. I like the ability to try out different teams, and it's really a great venue for practice. But if they could somehow make it shorter so I can still achieve all the benefits of finishing Galactic War without having to necessarily invest a full hour of time, I think would be great. Now, let me try out a different team here. We did the first order team, right? So let's try an all resistance team on this one. So let's go ahead with the my Poe's not leveled up there yet, but let's go ahead with Poe. Resistance Pilot. Let's do Resistance Trooper. Let's do Ray. And let's do Finn. There we go. Let's see how this works. Now, everybody here is pretty maxed out except for Poe Dameron, so let's see. Now, this team, I mean, we're not facing necessarily the most difficult team in the world either, so let me just go ahead and try to take Sidious out here. One shot. And now let's go ahead and taunt with Poe. Didn't expose anybody. That's because his abilities aren't leveled up. Now I'm going to go for Qui-Gon. Didn't expose him either. Okay. Missed on the expose with him. Right, let's go ahead and hit Chewie. Well, knocking out his whole protection with one basic. Yeah, Poe was way too squishy for this, but let's go for the expose here. Got it. Well, now we can go ahead and take him out. Now we'll go for the expose on Phasma. Nothing. Let's take Phasma out. Expose, yes. And that'll finish off. Oh, not quite. Ooh, just enough time to get off that Force Blast on Resistance Pilot and take off his protection, huh? Okay, we'll get rid of her. But that's a Resistance team, just for you guys, that want to see that. To really look at it its full true potential, I have to level up Poe Dameron, though. So we're almost there. I got Poe at 6 stars. I think he needs 30 more shards. Or 25 more shards to get him to 7 stars, and then he'll be ready to go. Okay, so next team. Let's take these guys out. And let's go for my alma mater, the Jedi team. Let's do that up. So we got Qui-Gon lead with Yoda, Ahsoka, let's go with Koth and Barriss. Well, for the Jedi team, for the sake of fun, we should probably no, I'm gonna leave Koth in there. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna go for Sidious's evade against Jedi is just absolutely ludicrous. Let's give it a shot, though. Of course. All right, I'm gonna go for Ahsoka. Let's finish her off. Oh, got Barriss called in for the assist. That's never good. Okay, that did it. Now, let's go for Luminara. Okay. So Chewie's got his taunt up. We're going to go ahead and dispel that taunt, give everybody offense up. Oh, that dastardly Dooku. I mean, when you're playing against Dooku, stuns and ability blocks all over the place. Literally never happens when I'm using Dooku, and I have him maxed out like in every way, except the Omegas. I didn't take that plunge. Thank God. Okay, and Sidious is out. All right, so now we're gonna finish off Luminara. But just in addition to what I was saying, now that things are figured out, I mean, I just see that things are just going a lot smoother. People are a lot happier. And overall, it's just been a better experience since the beginning with guilds when people were kind of having a lot of stress. And now, we're getting a lot more guilds that are involved in doing the T7s because, we've kind of figured out the T7s have been exposed a bit. Okay, they're not as difficult as were originally advertised. So we're understanding that now, and more teams are being able to do these T7 raids than were before, because they're just understanding that it's a matter of proper planning and just basically coordinating with the rest of the team, when everybody's going to attack, and having the right team comps go into the right phases. But initially that was a little bit of an issue. It took getting people past the fear of losing raid points, and just understanding that this is obviously the end game. And I initially didn't think it was going to be that difficult either, because when EA created the entire raid system, I didn't think they were going to create a tier 7 raid that was going to be absolutely unreachable for free-to-play players. I mean, they had to make it something that was attainable for everyone, because otherwise you're basically eliminating the ability for people that don't necessarily spend as much money in the game to get the gear that's necessary. So I knew these T7 raids were going to be a little bit more achievable than we initially thought, and now that more people are doing them, it'll just mean more competition next month. And listen, I welcome it. I look forward to another great month of raids. Hopefully we can get my first droid caller here in the next raid I do. Still waiting on that, but basically that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to finish up my GW in a little while, but if you guys like my video, please comment, subscribe, ask me any questions that you like. If you're interested in joining any of our guilds in TeamSkunk, I know the Alpha team is still looking for a couple of people, so just either message me or go to lordskunk.com or teamskunk.com and click the link to get you to Discord, and just go to the looking for guild section and type in your information there, and somebody will contact you. Otherwise, just may the force be with you guys. Thanks.